Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 4-8, divide mixed numbers, found on page 325. Extreme geography. The deepest point on Earth's ocean is the Mariana Trench, which is located 6 4/5 miles beneath the ocean surface. So 6 miles, almost 7 miles, right? The average depth of Earth's ocean is 2.5 miles. By contrast, the highest elevation of Earth is Mount Everest, which is about 5.5 miles high. Okay, so here we have Mount Everest at 5.5 miles up, but the Mariana Trench is even deeper if you compare it like an upside down mountain. Write a division expression to find how many times as deep the Mariana Trench is than the average depth of the ocean. So we're going to write the Mariana Trench right here and then divide it by the average depth of the ocean so that we can see how many of these, how many averages are in the Mariana Trench, so that we can see how much bigger, how many times bigger or deeper the Mariana Trench is. So you should have something that looks like this: 6 4/5 right there, divided by 2.5 right there. Okay? For number 2, we have to write a division expression to find how many times as tall Mount Everest is than the average depth of the ocean. The average depth of the ocean we know is already 2.5. And we want to see how many of these are in Mount Everest, and we know that the height of Mount Everest is 5.5 miles. So how many times bigger is Mount Everest, right? So we just divide. Okay, always take the larger number and divide it by the smaller amount. And now let's practice rewriting mixed numbers. So rewrite the mixed number 6 4/5 as an improper fraction. We always have to, and this is a review for many of you, we always have to multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add the numerator. So we multiply 5 times 6 equals 30, plus 4 is 34 over 5, right? And then over here we have 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11 over 2. On the next page we have the first key concept. Divide a mixed number by a fraction. Dividing mixed numbers is similar to dividing fractions. To divide mixed numbers, write the mixed numbers as improper fractions and then divide as with fractions. So let's make a list of steps. So step 1, the first thing you do is convert the mixed number into an improper fraction. You might have more than one mixed number, so you convert all the mixed numbers into improper fractions. Step 2, change the division sign to multiplication and flip the second fraction. We flip the second fraction because we're looking for the multiplicative inverse. Step 3, check for cross-reference to simplify. At this point you have you're multiplying two improper fractions, right? And you want to cross-reference so that you simplify. And step 4 is multiply straight through and simplify. What I mean by simplify is don't leave it as an improper fraction. Make sure you change it to a mixed number so it's easier to read. And if you didn't cross-reference here, make sure that you are simplifying it and you're giving me a mixed number in the simplest form. So those are the steps to follow. Alright, let's try example 2. We're going to do a little estimate first to make sure that we have the right idea. Well, it looks like we're going to divide a number that's close to 4, right? Let me write that there. 4 divided by 1, right? Because if we were to round both of these numbers to the nearest whole, we would get 4 divided by 1, which is 4. So our answer will be close to 4, right? Okay, let's change this to an improper fraction, and we have 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Over 4. Now we have 15 over 4, and we've changed the division sign to multiplication, so that means we have to invert the second fraction. Now it becomes 5 over 4. And that's too bad because I really thought we could cross-reference these two, but we couldn't. You see, it would have been easy to cross-reference, but because we have to invert it, we have to flip it. Now there is no cross-reference. So now we go ahead and we work straight through it, and we have 15 times 5, I believe, is 90. Okay. And 4 times 4 is 16. So now we have to see how many 16s are there in 90. And I believe there are 4, right? 4 is 64. Okay. It would be 64, which I have, no, 4 times 16 is not. Okay, something is not working out here. I've noticed I made a mistake. Let me go back. This is my mistake right there, and I'm sure you noticed. Let me just go back here and erase that. Actually, 15 times 5 is 75. I'm doing 15 times 6 is 75. And now I have 16 at the bottom. How many 16s? Yes, there are 4, which gives me 64. So the difference is 11 over 16. And now I'm going to check with my estimate, where my answer right now is 4. 11/16 is about 4. So yes, I was not too far off. Obviously, if I were to round this, I would round it to 5, correct? To 5 wholes. But 4 was a good estimate. Okay, now we have our examples here to practice A, B, and C. Please go ahead and pause the video now. Try these on your own. And then I will check it with you. So please pause now. Okay, I went right ahead and I did this first step, which is converting the mixed number into an improper fraction. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 is 19, so 19 over 8. I changed the division to multiplication, and I inverted the second fraction. Okay, and now I can cross-reference. That's the step I'm on. When I cross-reference, I see I have multiples of 4. I have 1 there, and I have 2 there. So I can go right ahead and multiply 2 times 1 is 2, and 19 times 1 is 19. When I divide 19 divided by 2, I know there's 8 of them there, right? No, 2 times 9. Again, my mistake. 2 times 9 is 18, with 1 left over, 2. So 9.5 is the answer. Okay, for B I did the same. I changed it to an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, 5 over 2. Changed to multiplication and inverted the second fraction, as you see right there. And now there's no cross-referencing, unfortunately, so I'll work straight across. 5 times 7 is 35, and 2 times 3 is 6. How many 6s? I can do 5 with 5 over 6 left over, right? All I have to ask myself is how many 6s are in 35. 6 times 5 is 30. That's the closest I can get without going over, and I have 5 left over. So it gives me 5, 5, 6. Okay, and again for the third one I did the same. I converted the mixed number to an improper fraction. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 5 is 45 over 8. I changed the division to multiplication, and I flipped the second fraction to 4 over 3. Now I'm going to cross-reference, and when I cross-reference, I see that I have multiples of 4. I have 1 4 there, and I have 2 4s there. Also, I have multiples of 3, as you can see here. Multiples of 3 means I have 1 3 there, and I actually have 15 of them here, because 3 times 15 is 45. And I can go ahead now and multiply straight across, and I have 15, and 2 times 1 is 2. When I divide it by 2, I get 7 with 1 left over and a half. So it's 7.5. And there's all 3 answers. I hope that you tried it on your own and that you got all 3 correct. Next page. Okay, another key concept on the next page is divide by mixed numbers. So to divide a mixed number by another mixed number, change both mixed numbers to improper fractions. Remember to simplify before you multiply. When we say simplify before you multiply, we're talking about cross-referencing. And you can see it done right here. Please take the time to go through all these steps so you can see how it's done. For the sake of time, I will not go through it with you. Please pause the video and check it on your own. Let's try example 2. We first always have to try an estimate, and I'm going to round 4 and 2/3. It's about 5, and 1 3/4 is about 2. Now, you could have rounded this down to 4 if you really wanted to, so because you're rounding this one up, it will give you a more exact answer. But this will be my answer. So, and 5 divided by 2 will be 2.5. Okay, so that's about that's my estimate. Okay, now let's try it. Convert each mixed number into an improper fraction. So we get 14 over 3 divided by 7 over 4. When I change it to its multiplicative inverse, I change it to multiplication and I flip the fraction. And now I can go ahead and just cross-reference, and I see that I have 1 7 here and 2 there. So I can, there's my simplified version. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 1 is 3. How many 3's do I have in 8? I know I have 2, with 2 left over 3. It's my whole. And 2 and 2/3, it's pretty close to 2.5, right? So our estimate was pretty close. Let's try this. As I mentioned, please pause the video, try it on your own, and then check your answers. Okay, I hope you paused the video. Let's try to change, let's do the first step for D and change these to improper fractions. There's my improper fraction. Oops, I changed it already to the multiplication, but I didn't flip the second. I changed the multiplication, but I didn't flip it, so I can go ahead and do that now. And I'm ready to cross-reference, and I see that I have multiples of 7. I have 1 7 here, and I have 3 of them in 21. Okay, and I can just go ahead now and multiply. And I have 9 over 5, and I know that that's going to be 1 5. There's a 1 5 in there with a 4 left over, and 5. 1 and 4/5. Let's try E. So I went ahead and changed it to a I made the whole number as a fraction, and I changed it to an improper fraction. As you see there, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, 5 over 2. Let's find the multiplicative inverse. And there we have it. We just flip, we change it to multiplication, we flip it. There is no cross-referencing, so I have 16 over 5. How many 5's are in 16? I have 3 with 1 left over, so it's 3 and 1/5. And let's do the same with F. Please change it to an improper fraction. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4 is 14. And 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. We have now the multiplicative inverse is 3 over 7. Okay, I just flipped it. And I can cross-reference now. I have multiples of 7 here. I have 1 7 and 2 there. And I have multiples of 3. I have 1 3 there and 3 3 there. I love when we can cross-reference. And now I have 2 times 1 is 2. And 3 times 1 is 3. And there is our answer. So we can go ahead and write it at the top as 2/3. Please read carefully through example 5, where you're going to read how these numbers are being divided into one another. Follow the steps. It explains what each step means and how we have to simplify at the very end, and our therefore statement. So is replaced by therefore, or it means the same thing. Please read through it. As always, leave the guided practice for class so we can warm up together. But please complete the independent practice on your own. Don't forget, there might be questions behind this page, on the next page. Alright, see you in class.